My name is Holly. I am 26 years old. I live in a small town in Virginia. The town is quiet and slow. Most people know each other. I work in a small bakery near the main road. The bakery is warm and simple. I spend many hours there. I make bread, cookies, and cakes. I serve coffee to people in the morning. It is not a big job, but it helps me live. When I was 11 years old, my life changed. My mother became sick. It happened slowly. First she was tired. Then she stayed in bed for many days. She tried to smile at me, but I could see she did not feel well. I sat beside her every day after school. I held her hand and talked about small things. I hoped she would get better soon, but she did not. One cold morning she closed her eyes and did not wake up. I remember that day in a clear way. The house felt different. It felt like a quiet place with no light. I stood in the living room for a long time. I did not know what to do. I missed her voice. I missed her warm hugs. I knew life would not be the same again. My father, Sam, did not cry in front of me. He tried to stay strong for me, but I saw how he sat alone at night. I saw his tired face. He tried to hide his pain, but I was young and could still understand it. From that time, he took care of me by himself. He worked long hours in a small store. He cooked simple meals for us. He washed the dishes and cleaned the house. He helped me with school and checked my homework every evening. Some nights he looked tired, but he always made time for me. He told me he was proud of me. I wanted to make him happy, so I studied hard. I wanted a good future. I wanted to make him smile again. Years passed, and I grew older. I finished high school and went to college. My father was happy for me. He said I should learn new things and meet new people. College life was busy, but I liked it. I studied business and hoped to find a good job one day. I wanted to earn enough money so my father could rest. But during my second year, my father became sick. It happened very slowly. First he felt weak. Then he stopped going to work. He spent more and more time in bed. We went to the doctor many times, but the doctor could not find the reason. My father became thinner, and he walked with slow steps. I felt worried all the time. I could not study in peace. I sat in class, but my mind was at home. Soon the money we saved was gone. My father had no job, and I had no way to pay for college and care for him at the same time. I cried in my room many nights. I did not know how to fix everything. I wanted to protect him and give him comfort. I wanted him to feel safe and warm. After many days of thinking, I made a choice. I left college. It was a hard choice, but I did not see another way. I went back home and started to search for work. I needed money for rent, food, and medicine. I found a job at a small bakery owned by an older woman named Rose. She was kind to me. She taught me how to use the oven, how to make simple cakes, and how to talk to customers. I was grateful for the job. Every morning, I woke up before sunrise. I washed my face, put on my bakery apron, and walked to the shop. I worked all day. When I came home, I helped my father eat, drink, and rest. Some nights he slept early, and I sat in the dark kitchen with my cup of tea. I felt tired, but I also felt calm. I was doing all this for him. One warm morning, a man came into the bakery. His name was Peter. He was 31 years old. He had short brown hair and light eyes. He wore simple clothes, but he looked clean and calm. He ordered a cup of coffee and a muffin. When I handed him the cup, he smiled and said that I had a gentle voice. I felt shy because strangers did not usually talk to me like that. I thanked him and went back to my work, but I kept thinking about his smile. The next day, he came again, and then again the day after. Soon he came almost every morning. He asked me about my day and told me small stories from his life. He said he liked to travel when he was younger. He spoke in a soft tone, and I felt safe around him. I did not know why, but I liked talking to him. It made my long mornings feel less heavy. One afternoon, when the bakery was almost empty, Peter said he wanted to take me for a short drive outside the town. He said he knew a quiet place near a river. He said the water was clear and the trees were tall. He told me I worked too hard and needed some fresh air. I did not say yes at first. I thought about my father and my job, but I also missed simple moments of joy. After some days, I agreed. We left the bakery after my shift. The road was smooth and the sun was low in the sky. The light felt soft on my face. Peter played calm music in the car. We did not talk much. I felt relaxed. When we reached the river, he parked the car and we walked to the water. The place was peaceful. The river moved slowly. Birds were near the trees. The air felt cool on my skin. I took a step closer to the water, and my shoe slipped on a small stone. I almost fell, but Peter held my arm. His hand was warm. I thanked him and felt shy again. We talked for a long time that evening. He asked about my mother. I told him she passed away when I was young. He looked sorry for me. He asked about my father, and I said he was sick and needed my help. Peter said I was strong. No one ever said that to me before. I felt seen in a new way, but I did not show it. When we left the river, I felt calm. It was a simple evening, but I remembered it for many days. Peter continued to visit the bakery. He spoke in a gentle way and made me smile when I felt tired. Sometimes he brought flowers from a small shop. Sometimes he brought simple gifts like a pen or a small notebook, but I did not use the notebook. I only kept it on my table. I told him about my days, and he listened carefully. I liked the way he looked at me when I talked. I did not know if it was love. I only knew I felt different around him. I felt warm in his presence. I felt safe. One night, after dropping me home, Peter said he liked me a lot. He looked into my eyes and waited for my answer. I did not say anything for a moment. My heart was quiet, but my mind felt clear. I told him I needed time. He nodded and said he would wait. I went inside my house and found my father asleep on the couch. I covered him with a blanket and sat beside him. I thought about Peter and about my life. I did not know what would happen. I only hoped something good would come. Days passed. Peter continued to be kind and patient. I saw him in the bakery, in the parking lot, and sometimes near my home. I started to trust him slowly. I did not feel fear. I did not feel doubt. I felt hopeful, and that hope grew a little more each day. Before I continue rest of the story, please like, subscribe, share, and tell me where you are listening from. Your support means a lot to me. Now let's continue. My days continued in a simple way. I worked at the bakery, cleaned the tables, and served bread to customers. My father stayed at home most of the time. He moved slowly now. He tried to smile when I came home, but I could see he was tired. I cooked for him and gave him his medicine. I wanted him to feel safe with me. Peter still came to the bakery every day. He always spoke in a soft voice. He asked about my father and my day. I liked our small talks. They made my mornings feel easy. One evening he asked if he could meet my father. He said he cared about me and wanted to know the people in my life. I told him I needed time to think. I was not sure yet. I did not want to rush anything. Some weeks passed. Peter became more open with me. He told me he did not have a close family. He said he moved a lot when he was young. He said he wanted a warm and simple life now. I felt glad to hear that. I thought maybe he wanted a future with me. I did not say it out loud, but the thought stayed with me. One weekend, he took me for another short drive. He said he wanted to show me a small hill outside town. The air was fresh. The sky was clear. We sat on a rock and looked at the trees below us. Peter said he felt calm with me. He said he wanted a strong bond with me. I listened to him carefully. I felt safe beside him. I did not see any danger in his eyes. I believed everything he said. Later that month, Peter asked if I wanted to marry him. His voice was not loud. He spoke slowly and looked right at me. I did not know what to say at first. The question felt big. I thought about my father. I thought about my life. I thought about the long days at the bakery and the long nights at home. Peter held my hand and said he would take care of me. He said he would give me a better life. I wanted a better life. I wanted comfort. I wanted a partner. After a short time, I said yes. We had a small wedding in a simple church. There were no guests. There were no flowers. Only Peter and me. I wore a plain white dress. Peter wore a dark suit. The room was quiet, but I felt warm inside. I hoped this was the start of a good life. After the wedding, he said we should move to a small house closer to the city. He said he wanted us to begin fresh. I agreed because I trusted him. 1 week later, I wanted Peter to meet my father. I felt it was important. My father opened the door and looked at Peter. His face changed. He did not smile. He watched Peter in a tense way. We all sat in the living room. My father asked Peter where he worked. Peter said he had small jobs here and there. My father looked at him for a long time. Then he said he saw Peter some months ago outside a store. My father said Peter was shouting at another man. My father said Peter looked very angry that day. I felt uncomfortable. I wanted to stop the talk. I told my father he must be mistaken. I said Peter was calm and kind. My father did not argue, but he did not look relaxed. When Peter and I left the house, he held my hand and told me not to worry. He said he only had a small fight that day. He said it was nothing serious. I believed him. I wanted my marriage to be strong. I did not want doubts to grow in my mind. Days passed, and my new life began. I hoped everything would stay calm and simple. I did not know what was waiting ahead. Life with Peter began to change after some months. At first, the changes were small. He came home late. He did not talk much. He looked away when I tried to ask about his day. I thought he was tired from work. I tried to make warm meals and keep the house clean. I hoped things would feel better again. But the days felt long, and his voice felt cold. I did not understand what was happening. One morning he shouted at me because the bread was too soft. I felt confused. I asked if he was worried about something. He said no and left the house. I stood in the kitchen and wished things would go back to the old days when he was kind and gentle. I told myself it was just stress. I told myself he would relax soon, but he did not. One evening he walked into the room with a smile. He said he had a surprise for me. He told me we would go to the city the next day. He said we could buy new clothes and have lunch together. His voice sounded warm again, and I felt hopeful. I wanted us to feel close. I wanted us to start fresh. I packed a small bag and waited for morning. We left early. The road to the city was long. At first we saw houses, shops, and cars. Later the road became empty. The sky grew darker. I looked through the window and felt unsure. I asked if we were close. Peter said yes. He kept driving until we reached an old warehouse far from any town. The place looked empty and quiet. I asked why we stopped there. He told me I would understand soon. A van arrived and parked beside us. 2 men stepped out. I felt my hands become still. I asked Peter what was happening. He did not answer me. The men opened my door and pulled me out. I tried to ask for help, but my voice did not come out right. One man tied my hands. The other placed tape over my mouth. I looked at Peter. He looked back at me but did not move. I tried to speak through the tape. I wanted to ask why. I wanted to ask if he remembered our wedding day, but the men pulled me away from the car. They pushed me into the van. The doors closed. The van began to move. The road felt rough under the wheels. I sat in the dark and tried not to panic. I wanted to think clearly, but everything felt strange. I thought of my father waiting at home. I thought of my quiet bakery days. I thought of the river where Peter held my arm. Now all of it felt far away. After a long time, the van stopped. The men took me into a small house with no sunlight. A man with sharp eyes looked at me and said I would work there. I begged him with my eyes to let me go. He did not listen. He turned away and closed the door behind him. My days in that house were slow. I cooked and cleaned for people I did not know. Some women were there too. They moved quietly and looked tired. We did not talk much because we were watched all the time. I missed my father every day. I missed my old life. I waited for any chance to escape, but there was none. One guard watched me often. He kept a serious face. One afternoon I asked him if he could help me. I told him I only wanted to go home. He did not speak. He walked away. The next day I asked again. I told him he should think about the people he cared for. His face changed for a moment. That night, when the house was quiet, he came to me. He told me to follow him. He opened a small back door and told me to run as fast as I could. I thanked him and ran outside into the dark street. I saw a car in the distance and waved. The driver stopped and opened the door. I sat inside and tried to breathe calmly. I asked him to take me to the nearest bus station. He did not ask many questions. He only drove quickly. At the station, I bought a ticket and sat on the bus. I looked out of the window until the town felt close again. When I reached home, my father opened the door. His face filled with shock. Then he held me with both arms. He asked where I had been. He said he waited for me every day. I told him everything. He held my hand the whole time. I could see he wished he could take all the pain away from me. The next morning, the news showed a report about a man who worked with a dangerous group. They said he took girls and sold them. They showed his picture. It was Peter. My father and I watched in silence. Police had found him. They took him away. I saw his face on the screen and felt cold inside. The man who said he would take care of me had done the worst thing to me. He had planned everything from the start. I sat beside my father and felt safe again. My life had changed in a heavy way, but I was home. My father made tea for both of us. He said I did not need to fear anything now. He said I could rest and start again. I listened to his calm voice. For the first time in a long time, the room felt steady. I knew I had a long path ahead, but I was ready to rebuild my simple life. The story ends with one truth. People who love you want to keep you safe. They do not want your life to fall apart. They want you to see real care and real comfort. I learned this in a hard way, but I will not forget it again. Thank you for listening to this story. If you enjoyed this story, please like the video and subscribe to English Medium Stories. Stay with us for more classic stories in easy English.